All set, Mike? Case, we could probably come on up too. There's a voice back there, yeah. Okay, I'd like to call to order the Planning and Zoning public hearing for Monday, November 22nd, 2021. Marilyn, could we do a roll call for me? Mr. Talley is not here.
Mr. Kurtz.
Here.
Mr. Strollo.
Here.
What's your seat? What's that? No. Mr. Mercado.
Here.
Mr. Bowman.
Here.
Mr. Dawson. Mr. Carderas. Mr. Linder. Here. Mr. Tedisco.
Here.
Mr. Anderson. Ms. Downs. Here. And Mr. Selman.
Here.
Would you come forward, President?
Thank you. Will the Commission and Public please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first order of business tonight is a special permit application of Lee Superchi for cottage food operator. Can I hear the call, please, Mr. Strollo? Just trying to read the call.
Special permit application of Lee Superche of 120 Brick Kiln Place, Cheshire, Connecticut, to be a cottage food operator, property located at 120 Brick Kiln Place, Cheshire, Connecticut, 064, as generally shown as map assessor's map number 62, lot 94 in an R40 zone.
Thank you. And I assume
That's me.
you are our applicant. I need your name and address for the record, please.
Leah Saperchi, it's 120 Brick Kiln Place, Cheshire.
Okay. We hear just a little bit about what you'll be doing at your
I'm applying
operation.
for a license to have a cottage food business out of my house to bake cakes, cupcakes, cookies, other sweets like that.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for her? Mr. Mercado.
So you're delivering it, no one's going to be coming to your house
Yeah,
to?
I'll deliver
pick up?
to anyone. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, good.
Small operation, no trucks, no any of that kind of stuff.
No, yeah, just out of my house. Just, yeah,
Okay.
pretty
And-
small.
Any other commission members? Questions? No? Anyone from the public wishing to speak, ask questions? Sure. I just need you to come up. I need your name and address for the record.
Oh.
You're just kidding. You can speak. We don't bite.
I just want to know if they're low fat.
For you, they will.
Are they low fat? Is there a low fat option?
There can be.
Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? No? Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to close this public hearing.
Thank you.
I'm also going to suspend the public hearing and call to order our regular meeting, so she doesn't have to wait around here all night long. I'd like to call to order a regular meeting for, that's not it. For Monday, November 22nd, 2021. I'm going to call everything off, but can I hear the motion for
We do, Mr.
special
Chairman.
permit, please?
Yes, special permit application, Leah Saperchi, 120 Brick Kiln Place. The Cheshire Planning and Zoning Commission find that the proposal to establish a cottage food operation as a home occupation is regulated under Section 30, Schedule A, Item 18B of the Cheshire zoning regulations, and described by the applicant in their narrative and testimony is consistent with the requirements set forth within these regulations, and hereby approve this application.
Move staff wording.
Moved by Mr. Bowman, seconded by Mr. Bricado. Okay, any discussion? Mr. Tedesco?
I just note that we had a staff report that gave us additional facts that we could rely on.
Yep, okay. Mr. Bricado?
Once again, I'd like to hear when we have these little cottage industries coming to our town and being able to make goods for Cheshire and the people. So thank you.
Not yet, not yet. Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Now you can applause. Okay, now I'm going to suspend our regular meeting and open up or go back to our public hearing for number 2 and number 3. Can we hear those together, please?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Bowman.
I am recusing myself.
Okay, thank you. 2 and 3.
I did 2 and 3?
Yep, 2 and 3, please.
Oh,
The call.
I'm sorry. The subdivision application of Pinnacle Land Development LLC, care of Ryan Thompson, RCL Thompson LLC, it's 19 Pepper Bush Drive, Clinton, Connecticut, 06413 for 11 lot subdivision property located at Coleman Road, as generally shown on assessor's map number 79, lot number 69 in a R40 zone. And number 3, the special permit application of Pinnacle Land Development LLC, care of Ryan Thompson, RCL Thompson LLC, 19 Pepper Bush Drive, Clinton, Connecticut, 06413 for a rear lot access property located on Coleman Road, as generally shown as assessor's map number 79, lot 69 in the R40 zone.
Thank you. And representing the applicant tonight?
For the record, Anthony Fazzone, representing the applicant. I'm an attorney here in Cheshire, with law offices here in Cheshire. And to start off, Ryan Thompson is the engineer, professional engineer on the project, and he's going to go through the project details with you. You can take this out.
I'm just going to stay away from everybody, but it's going to be more clear if I take this off.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, I'm Ryan Thompson, engineer and land surveyor of RCL Thompson LLC. I'm the engineer with the client, the applicant here for the subdivision of the Tripadino property at 791 Coleman Road in Cheshire. I'm from my address is 19 Pepper Bush Drive, Clinton, Connecticut. So just a little bit of a background overview of this project. Essentially what we are proposing to do is to take an existing former farmland slash area that was used for like a bunch of greenhouses, that kind of thing. It was a very cultural site, develop it into an 11 lot subdivision with a cul-de-sac and then a rear access road going to the rear 3 properties on the pardon me, on the west. The points that I'm going to hit on first are the wetland area and the existing ponds. The site has 2 ponds that are man-made, and surrounding them, and those ponds are in blue here. Surrounding them in the green is the wetland area that was delineated. As part of your packet, you should see a wetland report. This is also going before the Wetlands Commission. And there was actually a site walk this past weekend. The ponds, again, they were man-made. They were probably put there for irrigation purposes. Over the course of the years, some pipes, some culverts have been added between the upper and the lower pond, and there's an outfall pipe going to additional drainage features to the south, which is the natural drainage pathway of this region. Before the ponds were man-made, it was also still at that point natural drainage way. So this plan proposes to utilize those ponds as stormwater management facilities because they are actually working effectively as they are, but in an effort to be good stewards of the environment and clean water, we are treating all of the runoff going into the ponds actually 5 different ways. What you have in front of you now will only show 4 different pretreatments, but there have been several rounds of emails and meetings and comments from the third-party engineer reviews And actually, as of now, I'm in the process of adding a fifth type of pretreatment that I'm going to go over. So that those corrections and those revised plans are not in front of you yet, but you'll have them before the next meeting. But I'm just going to talk to them tonight if that's okay. So the first thing is all of the water. Well, let me back up a little bit. There are three outfalls on this property. There's the outfall that is just south of the ponds that goes south. There's an outfall over here just south of lot 10. And then there's a portion of water that sheet flows off the current pre-development site that goes over to Coleman Road into a series of catch basins and on. Those three outfalls are maintained in the proposed condition, with two of them, the two to the south, having significant reductions in runoff, and I'll get to why in a minute, and the one going to Coleman Road having a slight, and I say slight, less than 1 cubic foot per second in the 100-year storm increase going into Coleman Road, which is virtually insignificant. It is what it is, but it is a slight increase, but it's very, very minor. The bulk of the water handling on this project is handled in the pond system. I have some catch basins along the road and some culverts that are outfalling into a sediment forebay, which then, and this is what you don't have in front of you yet, so I'm going to describe it here, and then we'll go into a wet swell system before it goes into the existing wetland and ponds, and then ultimately downstream. For the western portion, water will sheet flow off of the lawns through a vegetative filter strip into yet another wet swell area here, and then into the pond and on downstream. So the 5 different pretreatments that are occurring outside of the wetland limits are deep sumps at the catch basins, so 2 foot deep for clean out of sediment. The sediment forebay, which is sized to handle 10% of the water quality volume coming off the site. Then the wet swells, which will actually pre-treat more than the remaining 90%. The total volume of pre-treatment in the forebay and the wet swells is about 1,300 cubic feet, and the requirement that I have to treat is about 1,150 for the total water. I'm sorry, 11,000. So 13,000 versus 11,000. So all over 100% of the water quality volume is being treated in those 2 systems. Then for the parts that aren't going through the stormwater, i.e. any runoff coming off of this rear access road, it's being treated by a stone diaphragm, which basically as the water flows off, it falls into a foot or foot and a half foot deep trench, which filled with stone, and it allows sediment to come out there. It then kind of level spreads over the vegetative filter strip, which is indicated here in yellow, and then ultimately into the existing wetland, and then into the ponds, and then downstream. And so those are the pretreatments that are being proposed. The other significant item to note of this plan is in its existing state, it is very largely impervious area. There's a large building roughly right in this, right in here. So it's a building, it's some sort of bays for maintenance or agricultural purposes here, which is a very large square footage. There's a large concrete pad here. There's concrete pads and foundations for the greenhouses throughout. There's compacted gravel that basically is in itself impervious area because it's so compacted and it's so tight. Water is just running off of it. There are piles of debris on the site. And so ultimately, the proposed condition has a reduction in impervious area compared to what the existing condition is. So in addition to those pretreatment methods that we're considering and we're proposing, We're also significantly increasing the perviousness of the site for groundwater recharge and infiltration just by natural flowing across lawns and grass as opposed to compacted gravel and asphalt and concrete and roofs and everything else. So that's the gist of the drainage component. The layout, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's a cul-de-sac, houses on each side, 3 houses in the rear access. With that, I'm going to just, I guess, open it up to any questions, or unless Attorney Fazone has any comments he wants to. I'll open it up to any questions you may have. Yes, ma'am.
It says here, where would you, oh, okay. Just pull it up and turn it on.
It says here that this is to be used for open space and swim. How deep is that?
Swim is, no, it's stormwater management, SWM, stormwater management. Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
sorry. I'm like,
No swimming. I
I
wouldn't,
was gonna say.
yeah,
okay.
it's very thorny in there too. You'd not,
Yeah, it didn't sound like
Yeah,
a good
no.
idea.
no, sorry. No.
Okay.
Mr. Strello.
Okay, couple questions. It looks like that it's directly across from the road, Monarch Place. It lines up.
Yes, the
Okay.
entrance lines
Okay.
up with that, yes.
And the house, I'm looking on my phone. I can see the house. There's like a couple buildings in the front. All those buildings will be coming down to the house.
Yes, everything there now is going to be demolished and removed, including the houses and the structures.
The original old farmhouse is gonna go?
Yes.
That's okay. All right. Ask that. And then I know that the topography coming around that corner it's a tight corner. And then there's
With,
a,
on Coleman Road?
yeah,
Down here?
like the next lot up, I think it's Hill's house actually. And I know that that's a higher level. And then we already got like something from the police department sight line and everything. We're good. Staff. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to ask that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Those are the questions. I was just concerned with the corner.
Yeah, this corner here. Yeah, so I actually did evaluate the sight lines. I don't, it's not on this particular sheet, but
Because how wide is the lot? It's 340 from one pin to the other. That's what I was trying. I couldn't see. I'm getting older and I can't see as well.
yeah, I can tell you. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's got to be the same as Monarch, but I'm just wondering.
L 46.
Is it 346?
No, it's L 46. I'm looking at my legend here. Give me a second. It's that line, that lot line on lot 11 that you're asking about is 180.
But how wide is the whole lot from one side to the other? Is it 346?
I'm sorry, with the whole
From-
whole lot of.
Here's the road in the middle. From this point to that point, how wide is the lot at the road?
Yeah, that's 346.07 feet.
So that's the narrowest part of the whole lot is right at the road,
Yes,
basically.
yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you very much. Yeah, I see that, the sight line, but it means that they have to cut
He asked what the width of basically the frontage along Coleman Road of the existing parcel is, and it's 346.07 feet. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a surveyor. I get precise.
Mr. Mercado.
So right now you say all the water and all that impervious surface goes south, right?
No, there's three outfalls. So outfall 1 goes south of the pond, outfall 2 goes south of basically lot 10, and outfall 3 goes
Right.
actually east towards.
So the first two that you mentioned are all going to go into the pond.
No, only outfall 1 goes into the pond.
Where does 2 go?
It sheet flows in, it's actually existing condition sheet flows into that. You can see there's some
Yeah, there's woods
drainage
down
here.
there and
Yeah.
everything.
It's
So
just,
with your road and the sewer, not the sewer, but the
Storm-
road drainage,
Mhm.
is that going to go to the pond or that's?
Yes, so I'm bringing essentially from right about where the lot line is between lots 1 and 2 and 10 and 11. All of that is, the drainage from the road is all going to the pond. And the reason for that is because that's your highest concentration of pollutants coming off the road. That's why I want to put it through this very rigorous treatment system before it runs off. What's coming off of this outfall too is basically just the backyard of these lots here, just running sort of like they do now.
So you're not increasing the flow into the pond at all from what it is now?
I am increasing into, but I'm reducing the outlet. So it, as a product of all this, all these different measures, ultimately what comes out the end here is less than what's coming out now,
Out of the pond?
out of the pond system.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it looks like it flows to another pond that's
It
getting
does.
close
It
to that
continues
tight
on
curve.
to another pond system downstream from it, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
The comments on this here is for the engineering review that we have. Are they, is this part of
Which-
this plan or the part of the new plan, or what's going to happen here?
He's going to make more revisions.
Yes.
And the engineer will review the next layer. They review.
So a lot of, I mean, it really doesn't, a lot of these questions are kind of whatever, because they're going to be changed
Yeah,
and
you're not, we're
re-reviewed,
not there
so-
yet. We're not at a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
where-
not, so let me just say, there's been 3 reviews so far. I've addressed the comments from the first 2 reviews. We're at a point where we have roughly 15 comments left.
So there's a few
to
more
resolve.
issues that have to be resolved.
A few more. The primary ones from an engineering perspective are the pond, relating to the pond system. And so what I'm showing you here is incorporating what I'm going to be providing revised plans for that have not yet been reviewed. However, I have had a conversation with the engineer reviewer, and we had a conversation this morning, and I feel pretty confident that what I'm proposing now is going to be acceptable. I just,
But you don't have anything yet for that.
but
for us.
there's
We'll
nothing in
have it.
writing. It's not complete.
Our next meeting.
The
we'll have
next meeting,
something.
that'll be done, yes.
Okay. Ms. Downs.
So it's a public road up until the circle,
That's until the cul-de-sac, correct?
cul-de-sac, and are there sidewalks?
There are sidewalks along, yes, and
Both sides?
yes, on both sides here, up to,
So, oh, go ahead, sorry.
yeah, right up to basically these, right before it turns into the cul-de-sac.
And a fire truck can turn around on that cul-de-sac?
Yeah, this is actually the town standards. So that it does meet, the fire department has reviewed this, and that's fine. They did ask whether or not it could traverse around this rear access, and I was able to show them.
That would
proof.
be my next
Yeah.
question. If the house on the end there, if a fire truck, how's a fire truck going to get out there?
It can travel around this. I took so the fire marshal gave me the dimensions of their largest truck, and then I modeled it using a software that's specifically for that purpose. I provided to him, and he found it acceptable.
So there's no back way to get in?
No.
The only way you're going to get in is to go around, then, so there's 3 off there, and then how would they back out and get out?
Well, they would have to back out. That's exactly what they would have to do. They have to back out here and then turn around and go back out.
Sure.
Comments from the fire department. They have reviewed it. So I do have the comments I can read in. Yes?
Yeah, let's hear them.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
Lou, you had your hand up. We'll hear the comments and then.
The latest ones. Fire department has reviewed the above application for the planning and zoning process. I recommend the following conditions, stipulations. This application is approved. Safe compliance plans must be submitted to the building official and fire marshal's office prior to construction. Final water main design and fire hydrant locations need to be approved prior to installation. Water mains and fire hydrants must be installed and serviced prior to combustible construction of the site. Design of residential sprinkler systems for lots 5, 6, and 7 need to be approved prior to construction. 4, we have provided the engineer with the town of Cheshire truck specifications and have requested a plan showing the turning movements to rear access. The rear lot access way has been shortened. There will not be sprinklers on those back lots anymore. They're not required under the regulations. So, but we've spoken to fire. Fire has no, it meets their standards. The cul-de-sac is fine, the rear lot access way is fine. They're going to talk about the hydrant locations, make sure that they'll be installed where they're going to be. The Regional Water Authority is also aware that there's going to be a fire hydrant in the back. And I do have one of the comment here, the water main and fire hydrant on the rear lot access is to be owned and maintained by the 3 lots. On the access, the Regional Water Authority may want to take ownership of those, and we'll talk about that. It's not a big deal, but there will be a hydrant and a fire line going to the back area that makes this fire department happy. So, but the Regional Water Authority may want to maintain ownership of those. So,
What was the date of the fire?
11/5, November 5th, 2021. So,
And Mr. Volker, I believe they've also come back with another response after that one that,
go on.
well, basically saying that these things have essentially been resolved. There's still
Yeah.
a couple of more comments, but
Well, we have no issues. Fire's got no issues, so.
Mr. Tedesco.
So on the rear lot access, is there a turnaround at the end of the rear lot? I mean, a fire truck would have to back out if it came in?
yeah, a fire truck, I mean, their largest vehicle would, I mean, and that's the fire marshal himself said he understood that. That's very common for rear, that is. There is a turnaround. It's a 50-foot diameter circle. And so for most vehicles, it's sufficient. You know, obviously for the people who are living there and stuff, it would be sufficient. But for their ladder truck, they're going to have to back the ladder truck out. One of the things they did ask, actually, and I'll bring this up, and it's hard to see here, but there's a strip along the outside or the uphill shoulder of like geotextile fabric or matting to help it from, to help the truck tires get some hold and everything on that too. So that was part of what they wanted to see.
One more, Earl. There's a provision in our regulations, the rear lot has to be approved by a special permit.
Mhm.
And there's language in the regulation, I'm going to read this and just give you a chance to respond to it. It says such approval shall not be granted unless the commission finds that the land characteristics and physical site conditions make the creation of rear lots practical and desirable, and only if the commission determines there is no logical or feasible alternative for the lots to be served by an accepted town road, street, or highway at the present time or in the foreseeable future. And that appears to be the case just from looking at this, but could you just give us some facts in the record that would support our finding that the land characteristics make a rear lot accessway practical and desirable, and that there's no logical or feasible alternative for a town road?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll just start with the town road. The rear lot access way is 15 feet of pavement. The town road is obviously it's 30 feet of pavement. So to bring that back through here, we would be significantly impacting these wetlands. That's the long and short of that is essentially why we chose the rear lot access as opposed to continuing the cul-de-sac all the way up to here and coming off the end of the cul-de-sac. And it, without the rear lot access, then basically this entire western side of the property would be inefficiently used in terms of development for this plan. So,
Great, thank you.
yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. On the plans, I see a bunch of easements. You touched on drainage easements. I see site distance easements and street, the frontage.
Mhm.
Can you just touch on all the easements, how many you got and what their purposes are and everything
Sure.
else?
There are, let's see, there's 5 different easements. There is what you already said, the site distance easement at the front along Coleman Road. Then there is a drainage easement between lots 1 and 2. There's a catch basin back here specifically to capture runoff so that it doesn't impact the neighboring property. That is its sole purpose. So in order to have that catch basin, there's a drainage easement there. And it's, I think, 25 feet wide. And then moving forward, then on the rear access lot, so initially you have a drainage easement for access to all of the drainage features here, the pretreatment features. So that's that. And that goes the width of the rear access up to essentially the farthest point of what needs to be specifically maintained for the forebay and the wet swells. And then you have rights of ingress and egress along the rear access for lots 5 and for lot 6. So that rear access is actually owned by lot 7, but the rights for driving over it are available for those 2 lots.
Does lot 7 own the pond and wetlands too, or how is that managed as far as?
So the pond and wetlands is actually going to be owned by a homeowners association.
Okay, so there's an HOA for this
Yes.
whole project.
Yes.
Okay.
So then they'll maintain it.
Yeah, maintenance is always important.
Yes, sir.
So those 2 sightline distances, that is an area that the homeowners can't plant trees or arborvitaes or anything?
Yeah,
that
I mean,
handled?
they basically, yes, that's it. If anything overgrows there, the town has, come in, cut it down so everybody can see, yes.
Any other commission members? No. Do you have any more to go, Mr. Fazone? Do you have anything before I go to the public?
I think it was mentioned briefly, but we are still before wetlands. So I'm assuming that the hearing will be kept open tonight.
Yes.
There is now a pretty specific form that the town requires for the sightline easements. And that has to be granted by the developer before the sale of those lots. And the lots are taken subject to those sightline easements and the responsibility, I think it's 24 inches in height. The other thing, 2 other things, as with all of the situations where we have a homeowners association in open space, there's a declaration that gets filed on the land records that requires the homeowners association to maintain the stormwater facilities. And there's a schedule. And again, the format of that has been approved not only by the town and the town's attorney, but also the Regional Water Authority. For the record, I have copies of a format for that declaration. The specifics of the facilities that are going to be in the 2-pond area aren't finalized, so this is just an example of what it would look like. And then the engineering department tells us to list the facilities. I have a copy of that declaration for the record.
Sure, thank you.
Similarly, for the 3 lots on the right-of-way, the rear access way, we prepare, and again, the town has looked at these. It is a written easement that is given to, I guess, Ryan, you said lot 7 owns the access way and 5 and 6. So 5 and 6 are granted easements and for utilities, and there's common maintenance responsibilities similar to what the homeowners association does, and gives the individuals the right to enforce the restrictions and the requirements for maintenance. And again, I'd like to put a copy of that into the record. And copies for commission members. And then the final thing I'd like to touch upon, if you read through some of the engineering comments, and in one of the last meetings, the town's consulting engineers, as well as the town engineer, raised the specter or possibility that there may be varieties mines on the property. And we question that. We haven't had a chance really to meet with them. We've done some research. There's a lot of material in the town clerk's office, but I'd like to introduce an exhibit. There was a report done in 1993. Town paid $20,000 to have that report done. That report contains a list of properties that they felt after their investigations that were affected by the shafts and there's a thing called adits, which are the horizontal entries into the mines. I just wanted to touch upon that. We will be trying to have another meeting to go over it a little more carefully, but we believe that that the mine shaft is not on the Tripadena property. The town's asked for ground penetrating radar. It looks like, of the entire site. We don't feel that's necessary. It's certainly the location of the shaft is actually, there are several maps that show the main shaft off of the Tripadena property, and the town's comment is along the southern boundary. We feel that the testing, instead of being done by ground penetrating radar, it can be done by backhoe. Actually, the part of the report that I'm going to introduce as an exhibit suggests that it can be done by backhoe. So I'd like to introduce that and just kind of alert the commission that there is at least that issue or that question that we have issue with, and we feel that hopefully we can meet and resolve that before the next meeting. But I'm going to put this in. It's only a small couple pages of the report, but it does list the properties that are in question. Pardon me?
We'll make it before we go to the commission. You have enough? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Got enough? If we don't have enough, then we can, we get more, so.
Yeah.
I think that's it for tonight. If you have any questions about what I've presented.
Commission members, any questions? Any other questions? Mr. Salmon?
So to summarize, is there mines activity that went through the property or near the property?
From what we've, the investigation that I've been able to do in reading some of the reports, it does not appear that it went through the property, nor does the shaft appear to be bordering the property. It is somewhere off the property to the south.
Yeah, looks like the 815 Coleman Road was noted, which is,
Yep,
is
couple,
that the parcel directly south of this one?
not directly south. There's at least one property in between.
Okay, okay.
I'll put together a map showing from the GIS maps in the town, you can see that none of those are adjacent to.
Anyone else? Mom, Mr. Pagano.
So doing the, instead of digging, it's more expensive to do the other means than it is to dig?
Well, the question, if there are issues, you can tell, I forget what the word is.
Because it just seems like the other way would be non-invasive. You're just poking around, excavating,
But I give you all. May I have one back, Phil?
Yeah, take it.
I don't think it's.
They're called subsidence, SUBSIDENCE. So you can actually, if there were a mine there, you'd see some evidence of it in the ground. So they're already there digging for a foundation. They're going to be there digging for septic systems, and it's more practical to just send somebody in there looking every inch of the property over. So in that respect, it becomes more expensive.
I didn't know how deep it was, or
I'll have that information. I did see a number. I hesitate to mention it because it may be way off, but I'll have a number, and we'll go over that again with the town's engineers before. And we just didn't really have time from the last report to do it.
okay, good, thank you.
Okay, anyone from the public wishing to ask questions, speak? No? All right, again, this will be held open. We'll have some new information for the new next meeting. And thank you. We'll be moving on. Number 4, number 5, we're not going to hear tonight. Number 6, we hear the call for number 6, please.
Planning and Zoning Commission is. Huh? What was that? Planning and Zoning Commission has set the public hearing for consideration for opting out requirements for Public Act 21-29 regarding the standards of accessory apartments.
Mr. Chairman,
That's
I've
it? Oh, I'm
been joining the
sorry.
meeting.
Mr. Bowman is back.
If I may, the town attorney had prepared a memo for you back in July on Public Act 21-29 about accessory apartments. You have had some discussions about that. You've also had some discussions about potentially amending the accessory apartment regulations. And the town attorney has stated and confirmed since then that the only way to do that is to first opt out of the state standards. Anybody who wishes to speak on this tonight, you're opening this hearing for that purpose. It's a two-step approach. One would be you deciding to opt out and then referring that to the council. And the council, as acting as a legislative body, would have to do a concurrence on that. So I don't really have anything substantive to add to that, just from a procedural standpoint, if anybody from the public wishes to have any comments about that, so.
Yeah, and I don't plan on closing this public hearing tonight. We're gonna leave it open. I don't think the council's gonna take it up right away, so there's no reason to, we're not stalling, but there's no reason
You
to
have
rush
time.
this tonight, so,
So there,
Mr. Ricardo.
so there was a question on the date when you had to opt out, because there was an effective date of January 1st, 2022, and then later on, they say January 1st.
It's January 1st, 2023. That's when you had your final date to opt out.
So
Okay?
what is the effective January 1st, 2022? I don't want to miss this date.
We're
It's the
not
date,
gonna-
I verified it. The 2022, the January 1st, 2022 is the effective date of the statute, okay? That's,
If you look at the statute, it was actually October 1st of 2021. So this is just a memo.
I'm
But if
just-
you look at the statute,
Yeah.
it had an October 21st,
you know,
21.
I'm
So
taking.
that's what's confusing, and I do not want to miss this date because
You
we're
won't.
pushing it.
You won't. It's January 1st, 2023. You have to complete the opt-out process.
Is that our opt-out, or is that with the council also?
That's what the council
Council
also, I mean, I'm
So even
assuming.
even if we did it tonight, they're not gonna take it up right away. So
No.
I'd like to hold it up open one more.
They have
One more
until
public hearing.
January 1st, 2023. You have a new legislative body there who won't even have their first meeting, and this will probably not make it to the top of their list, but you can get it, the sooner you get it to them, obviously, the better, so.
Yeah.
We have not prepared any motions or resolution on that. We'll have that at the next meeting, so.
Okay. There's so many people from the public here, but is anyone wishing to speak on this from the public? No, okay, so there's no public. Is there any comments we want to get out now? I'm agreeing with you. I just don't want to do it
Yeah.
tonight like we're rushing it, because there's,
No,
they're not going to take it on either. We're not pushed by anything. It just.
no, it's just confusing that there's two different dates on there that say the
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah.
And I don't know if that's a game they play or what.
Yeah.
I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
You're assuming they know the rules.
You're
All
not
right,
used
so-
to these new rules yet? I am.
So no discussion. I know, but no one else on this. Okay, so we're gonna,
Mr. Chairman, what I'll do for the next meeting is in advance, prepare a resolution on the opt-out. So you, assuming
See,
you
you
adopt
can look
it,
at
and
it.
it'll go to the council as a resolution with requesting their concurrence.
if they see we've done something on it, they might
Yeah,
jump it up a little bit and,
Yeah.
and take it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn the public hearing. Motion by Mr. Strollo, second by Mr. Picado. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. I'd like to call to order a regular meeting for Monday, November 22nd, 2021. Can I get a motion to accept the public hearing and regular meeting from October 25th, 2021? Minutes by Mr. Strollo, seconded by Mr. Bowman. Is that who it was? I'm sorry. Did someone second it? I thought I heard something. Ms. Downs. Okay. Any corrections, anything on the minutes, Mr. Tedesco?
I just have a comment. I don't think it's important necessarily, but I'll make it anyway. On the bottom of the minutes of the regular meeting, bottom of the second page, it says, Mr. Tedesco said, interesting and worthwhile discussion. People come up with solutions for the rights of people. He will vote in opposition to the motion on the floor. And then it goes on to the top of the next page. It says, chickens on half-acre lot is a bad idea. I don't think that was my statement, and there's no name in between. I don't think we have to change anything. I'm just referencing that. I guess that's, And then the page also says, Mr. Tedisco says it allows female turkeys. I guess I think what I said at that point was it could be read to allow female turkeys, but I'm just mentioning this for the record. There's no need to change anything, I don't think.
No, you're just okay with it? Leave it the way.
I think I've made a record of it right now. I
Yep.
don't think, I don't think there's going to be any appeal of that in any event. So I don't think there's any issues coming up.
Really don't want to bring the chickens back up again.
Chicken Gate 3.
Any other comments on the minutes? Yes,
Page 5.
page 5.
The motion for the proposed special design for Old Town Commons. The motion, I incorrectly cited the motion approval. The vote,
801.
it should be 7-1-1. 7, Linda opposed and Dawson abstained. So it's 7-1-1, not 7-0-1.
Okay, and you'll make those changes?
I will make that quick changes in minutes, yeah.
Okay. Anything else in our minutes? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. All right, any communications to come before us tonight?
No, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we took care of one earlier. New business, special permit application Cumberland Farms, 626 Maple Avenue.
Yeah,
Did I miss something? I'm sorry.
no, you're right.
I just want to make sure everything from 2 to 6 is going to the 13th. Is that correct?
No. B, C, and D are going to the first meeting in January. 7, under tabled applications.
I'm looking at the unfinished business.
Yeah, they'll be on the 13th.
They're all on the 13th.
Pinnacle, Jamie Ferguson,
Yep,
Ardizia,
13th.
and our accessory apartment,
Yeah,
all on the 13th.
yeah.
The table is on January 10th.
Item A is December 13th, and then B, C, and D are January 10th.
Thank you.
Okay. New business, Cumberland Farms. Mr. Chairman, they want to put a storage box. It's an insignificant addition. They're requesting a waive the public hearing, which they're allowed to do under the regulation. This is a special permit, it's a modification special permit. I don't see any significant issue there for public hearing purposes. It's a minor, and it's only storage. It's not even part of the retail area. It's a storage building, a storage shed on the outside of the building. So what's that? It's attached, but it doesn't have, there's no interior. You can't, if you're a customer, you can't walk into it. And again, I don't want to evaluate the application. I'll do that when it comes in, but I'm just telling you what it is. It's very small, small addition. So anyway, they're asking to waive the public hearing. I don't see any really reason to have that. If you wish, you can, because we're suggesting that it be scheduled for the December 13th meeting anyway. So
How's everyone feel about the public hearing? We have a motion to waive the public hearing.
It's like approving a closet.
It's small, yeah.
So
The ice bucket out front is bigger.
Do you want to make a motion?
Motion to waive the public hearing.
Second.
Move by Mr. Stroll, second by Mr. Mercado. Any discussion? This is for the public hearing. To waive the public hearing for Cumberland Farms for a 243 square foot storage box on the west side. It's under new business. We're just to the public hearing only. So to be at a regular meeting, we're going to hear it on they'll be ready
yeah,
with
they'll make
plans
a
on the 15th.
presentation. You just won't have it as a public hearing.
Yeah.
You won't, yeah.
Anyone discussion with that? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. What's number 2?
2 and 3 are the same thing. There's was a subdivision called Bickerton Woods Phase 2, which had a large undeveloped piece of land in it that was shown as dedicated, not a building lot. The owners of the property now want to convert it into a building lot, so it's a revision to
Mr.
that
Chairman, I got to
subdivision.
recuse myself. I'm sorry.
And it has it's going to be on a rear lot access way. And so it's a 2-part application with a special permit for the rear lot and the creation of the building lot. So
Where are we putting that?
that would be on the the December 13th meeting. It's not bad.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah. Some of these are easy. So,
All right, it's a lot.
that's all we have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Moved by Mr. Mercado, seconded by Mr. Strollo, and everybody's in favor.